Hey friends. I am finding my way back to my daily routine, having arrived back at home, and I'm clocking the difference in lifestyle and sleeping schedule that I sort of underwent as I went to Houston. Staying up past midnight 4 or 5 nights a week doing a show is very different than living it at home and trying to get up in the morning in time to do a qigong routine and a meditation routine before a toddler wakes up. Those are two different worlds, quiet as it's kept. And I'm really enjoying this reset. This is certainly in alignment with my natural rhythm in a deep way. And one thing that showed up this morning was I was doing I was meditating. I was just doing my meditation, but for some reason I was reminded of the gratitude practice that I had gotten really pretty routine with in Houston. And anytime my routine shifts, anytime I have a lifestyle shift like the one I was describing, it's not that everything goes out the window, but it's just I have to then kind of reinstall the practices in such a way that they become habit again. It's not that it's more difficult to have a gratitude practice here at home. In fact, if anything, I would say it's easier. But my series of habits, the way in which I've constructed my day and my rhythm to trigger certain behaviors that I want to be consistently doing, changes, and I have to kind of rebuild that now because I've been gone for a long time. And so I'm sitting in meditation, and I think, gratitude practice. Let's bring that back. So I start just kind of as I'm sitting, I allowed myself to sort of stop the meditation process for a moment and think and just reflect on what I'm grateful for. And an early takeaway, like the first thing I kind of noticed was something that happens virtually every time I do a gratitude practice, which is I become aware of just the sheer number of things I'm grateful for, and it's almost staggering. It's almost kind of stunning to me as I start that practice, because what happens consistently, no matter how many times I do the practice, this still keeps coming up, which is I start to feel, oh my God, look at this life full of riches. How could I ever be upset? How could I ever not feel anything but overwhelming gratitude for this life? It's and of course I routinely fall into the habit of kind of nitpicking or feeling like, oh, I wish this were different, or I wish, such and such were going better, or whatever it is. But anytime I come back to this practice, it's like the walls, it's like the fake walls of my own kind of limited thinking. It's like they fall away, it's like the scene in one of those movies where it's like the walls just fall over, and like the person has been tricked into thinking that they're in prison, and actually it's just a film set or a paper, cardboard walls out in the middle of a desert somewhere. It's just the kind of movies that I watch. But there's this sense of like the barriers that I thought, or the limitations or the problems that I thought were so real, just fall away, like a film set, like fake, like the fake artifacts they are. And my view becomes so expansive, and it's like stunning, staggering how much richness there is. So that was my first sensation, especially if I let a couple days go without doing a gratitude practice. That really kind of tends to hit home. And Then the next thing that happened was really interesting. I made a connection from something that Madeline has said to me to my larger life. And so I'm trying to figure out which order to tell this in. So I think where I should start is, so when I'm playing piano, if I'm playing a difficult piece, right now I'm working still essentially, and probably will be for the next year or two, on the Chopin Etudes with Madeline. And one of the things she said to me early on, and which she keeps reminding me of, and which I have now learned to remind myself of, is that there a piece of a complicated piece of music, you have to find, it's like pillars where the music is grounded, the phrases are grounded, and at those moments of kind of technical grounding, we need to be able to play one note or one chord or one beat or whatever it is, and then the way that Madeline puts it is existentially let go. So actually not just physically letting go, but feeling like when we arrive on this note or this chord, stop and literally relax everything in our being. So there's no tension, no held tension. We're not carrying any tension over from the past, from what we've just played. When we do that properly, that's how we gain the freedom, the facility, and the simple relaxation that it takes to play a passage that's technically difficult really fast. If we don't do that, if we don't have those moments where all the tension drains away, then tension is going to accumulate. It's like you imagine like a vial, and tension is just filling up in the vial. We have to periodically let it all drain back out of the vial so that then it can start to fill back up again. It's not that we are never going to have tension. That's thoroughly impossible, and it's not even really desirable. But if we can't drain it, then there's just no way you're going to make it through a Chopin etude, or even like a Mozart sonata. Tension will accumulate. If tension is accumulating, the barrier very, very quickly becomes insurmountable. And so the way she describes it is arrive at this point and existentially let go. And it's usually, for me, it took me quite a while to be able to do that. And when I'm learning a new piece, especially, I have to first go in and figure out, well, where are those points? Where are those moments where that's really even possible, where that's the thing? And then program myself to do that. And generally I have to start really slow and sometimes put a giant gap after that moment. In other words, I'm not playing continuously. I have to arrive at that pillar and then just take whatever it is, 10 or 15 seconds, to let all the tension drain away until I'm sure that I've actually done that before continuing on. And then, of course, little by little, through practice, we can compress the amount of time that it takes to let the tension go, but we still have to have that moment. That moment has to be installed where we existentially let go. And that has been such a huge instruction in my playing. It's been such a big change in terms of understanding what's happening when a technically difficult piece kind of gets away from me. It's always because there's excess tension and I haven't drained the vial. I haven't let it go in order to be able to continue. There's just no way to carry all that tension with us. So anyway, so that's the principle on piano. But this morning, as I was sitting in meditation, I had this thought about, it came up around the house that we have, because one of the things I was feeling grateful for is this house. We have a beautiful house in Albuquerque. I guess it's actually, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the day that we first saw the house, not the day that we purchased it. That's not till end of May, but we saw it on a 1-day showing, and I fell in love with it. I didn't even see it the first day. Katie saw it without me, and we moved ahead quickly without my ever having even been here. But it's just a place that we've really fallen in love with. It really feels like home. And so I was feeling gratitude for that. It was one of the things that popped up in my awareness as something that I'm so grateful for. And then I realized there's a sense of tension around it, in the sense of, well, we have this ongoing, it's not just a house, it's our whole life, but there's a kind of ongoing financial challenge to living, right? We all have to some degree. We're like making a living, hoping things work out financially. I happen to work in a field and in a way where my income's kind of pretty unpredictable sometimes. It's, generally keep staying afloat, but kind of never quite knowing how. And so I realized that there was a sense of tension around the house in me. And I thought, for some reason at that moment, these two things connected. And I thought, wait, does there have to be tension around this? What if this house, what if us being here, what if me being here right now, and these being our family circumstances, what if that's a pillar that I can just arrive at and allow all the tension to drain away? Of course, that doesn't mean that I don't have to go forward in my life and continue to make a living, or continue to find, a financially viable way of being. But what if I don't have to carry tension from the past into this circumstance and then feel like it's baggage that I have to keep on carrying? What if here I am? Here we are. Boom. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be here. Period. It's like that thing I was saying about the pool lesson that I took, where the teacher said to me, when I didn't quite get the leave I wanted, he said, don't berate yourself for not getting exactly the leave you wanted. Imagine if someone else just missed a shot and you walked to the table and it looked like this. How would you feel about it? And it was a rhetorical question, because it was like, well, I'd feel great about it. It would be a great opportunity. That's how this circumstance can be too. Like, what if the fact that it's not all totally resolved, or that all the answers aren't already right in front of me, what if that's not a problem? What if I don't need to have tension around these circumstances just because I don't know exactly what's going to come next? So there was oddly, this like piano metaphor helped me rest into these circumstances and treat them like a moment where I existentially relax, arriving here in this set of circumstances with this thing in my life that I'm grateful for, and then existentially relaxing. Now, how do I want to move forward? Right? It gives me choice. Back to what I was saying yesterday about, Sadhguru and karma and all the stuff that's swirling. It gives me choice about how I move on, because I'm not, instead of being, I'm carrying these responsibilities, this baggage that for whatever reason still needs to be carried, even though there's nothing even in the bags. It's just weight in the bags. Putting that down gives me a sense of choice. Now I get to choose the path. I get to choose where I go next. And more than anything, maybe most importantly, the prevailing feeling is gratitude. I'm here I get to actually experience my own gratitude. It's impossible for me not to feel the gratitude on some level, but it's totally possible for me to bury the gratitude behind a mountain of worry about what's going to happen next. But why do that? Why not just ground into this and let that gratitude be the prevailing feeling and let everything go, decide what's next. So that's where I arrived today. Thanks for watching, folks. Love you. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.